Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber. As always, guys, welcome back. I do appreciate the support. Now, guys, listen. What was it? March 1st, we were supposed to have this second hearing with the 5 Memphis police officers accused of killing Tyre Nichols. And today was that day. Now, yesterday I did a story about Chadarius Bean and him fighting his decertification until after trial. And we'll cover that a little bit in this one in case you guys haven't seen it. I'll leave it in the description box, in the pop-ups at the end, so you guys can see that as well. But guys, I want to get right into this. Today, they had their second hearing. Now, I don't know if they were present or not. I'm going to play you a video clip and you guys can see it. They didn't show them. But honestly, guys, what it basically is this is about when they suspended all of that footage they were supposed to leave out, when they were supposed to let out to the public. Now, the defense team saying, hey, you know, we're trying to build a formidable defense. We want to see through all this footage because there's so much footage that we have to look through it and see which is good and which, you know, is not good to release to the public at this time prior to trial. This tells me two things, especially with what happened with Chadarius Bean fighting his case with his decertification. This right here is what everybody is wondering. And I myself was, thinking about this. If they're going to trial, guys, all these guys are going to trial. Whew. That in itself, that's one thing right there. They're all going to go to trial and try to fight this thing, which is not good for the city. And it's definitely not good for CJ Davis. That's one thing. Second thing is this. The defense wants to try to suppress a lot of the audio. I think the audio is the thing. Now, I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to come back to that. Let me play this clip real quick. You guys check it out. It'll help out with what I'm going to say after. Let's go.
Happening today, attorneys for the former Memphis police officers who are now facing murder charges after the death of Tyre Nichols are in court right now. There has been a request from the media for more video to be released from the January 7th traffic stop that led to Nichols' death. Lakita Johnson has been inside of that courtroom all morning. She says the DA's office turned over several documents to the attorneys, including some sensitive material that can't be released until trial. However, the attorneys say it wasn't organized correctly, so they weren't sure what information could or couldn't be used. Well, the media wants anything released that won't hurt the investigation. We've been told there are several hours more of that video that was released. You may remember earlier at the end of January, they released about 20 hours of video from that traffic stop. Well, now the judge is giving the state 2 weeks to come up with a list of information that they don't plan on using in trial and hand that over to the attorneys. And they say that that information will also be able to be released to the public. Well, we do know that this all happened after the death of Tyre Nichols. Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills, Justin Smith, and Chadarius Bean are all facing several charges, including second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. They were all part of the now disbanded Specialized Scorpion Unit within MPD. That was supposed to lower crime in the city. But following the traffic stop in Hickory Hill in January, video already released shows those 5 officers beating, tasing, and pepper spraying the 29-year-old. Nichols died 3 days later. An autopsy shows he died from blunt force trauma. The officers will be back in court on June 5th. That's also when the state has to have their list ready to hand over to the defense attorneys. Well, speaking of those 5 officers, a state agency is holding off on a decision about the decertification of one of them. Chadarius Bean is one of the officers fired and now facing second-degree murder charges. Bean did not appear at that decertification hearing, but his lawyer did, requesting that suspension. This means his decertification is pending until the conclusion of other court proceedings like today's. Well, the other 4 officers were decertified back in March, meaning that they will no longer be able to work in law enforcement in Tennessee.
All right, guys, that was the news story about what happened today. And I want you guys to pay attention to something. Get it? This is nothing but a bunch of semantics and a bunch of positioning from the defense to get this thing right to work in a favor of having their clients, these 5 dudes right here, looking in a somewhat favorable light, which will be definitely hard to do. It's a difference between police work and police brutality, and these people brutalized Tyre Nichols, which we already know. The audio, they're saying it's still a few more hours of video that has not been released. Okay, that's the part that's the holdup. And this is the part, the reason why they're not releasing it. Now, a normal person like you and I would say, hey, look, the damage is already done. We've seen them fighting on them and all this stuff. It's not that. That's out in the open. That's full transparency. Everything you've seen them fighting on him, that's full transparency. It's not that. And I made a statement yesterday in the other video about Tyre's Bean, which I'll leave at the end in one of my pop-ups. It's not the physical. It's the audio. The audio is what they're worrying about, because you got incrimination by police officers, mainly Tyre's Bean, running his mouth talking about who did what to Tyre Nichols when the cameras wasn't around, besides the body cam, when there was no other officers, when he was distinctly describing everything that happened to Dwayne Smith, the first lieutenant that retired. Remember, that's what they worried about, because now you got it from the horse's mouth of all the bullshit that had happened, which resulted in blunt force trauma against this guy. And speaking about blunt force trauma, I'm going to say this real quick. Y'all was beating on that dude. Y'all didn't know y'all was beating him too much? Nobody said, okay, listen. We're going to have to come up with another strategy. We can't be beating on this guy like this, because look how he's looking. We know we're hitting him hard. We're going to pay for this. Knuckleheads, nobody thought about it. But anyway, let's get back to this. When Tyre Nichols was on the ground, a lot of key evidence is when they were talking to Dwayne Smith, when they were talking to a lot of other officers that were standing there. They don't know if the story changed up. They don't know who said what. They trying to match voices with the faces. Another thing is, when they do this criminal, like this is the cutthroat period of any type of investigation. And believe me, folks, these 5 assholes here, they are on pins and needles. They're not in the courtroom. I just realized that they're not in the courtroom. Their attorneys are. The attorneys are going to be doing the thinking and hearing for them while they're sitting at home stressing. Watch. Look. This trial, you're going to see a lot of crazy things. Number one, Demetrius Haley, right? He talked too much. He said too much at the end of the video when he was talking to stuff, and it was administering aid. And even before they was administering aid, he was running his mouth, giving the whole synopsis, how they felt, what they was doing, who was hitting on him, how many times they hit him. Building a lie. He was on something. Remember that? All of that was from him. So he going to be forced to take the stand against the other 4 people, because he said everybody did what everybody did. You see what I'm saying? So he will have to be forced to take the stand and speak, because it's him on the camera talking. Justin Smith, Tyre's Bean too. Tyre's Bean lawyer said he didn't touch him. Demetrius Haley say otherwise, and so do the body cam. So how you going to defend that, bro? How you going to take credibility as a lawyer to defend this guy and put him in a good light when you yourself lied without even seeing the videos and stuff in the beginning? Or at least paying attention to him when you made your first initial statement. Like I said a long time ago, you shouldn't have said nothing. You should walk right out with your head down. No comment. This right here, guys, is going to be crazy. Check this out, too. With that audio, right? At the end, it said Tyre's Bean is fighting for his certification. That's a ploy. They're trying to separate him from the rest of them with the defense they're using. Remember, it's 5 different officers, 5 different accounts, 5 different defense teams. They all are going to try to make their client look a certain way. And Tyre's Bean, they're trying to pull him away from them. Think about it. He's fighting for his certification. He did nothing wrong as an officer. Really, you're telling this is what we always do. Beat up people like this. It's nothing new. Stand-up police broke. Oh, really? You're going to get smoked. Look, they pulling him away. Like I said, right? He's fighting for his certification. When this is over and justice will be served, can I get my job back? Because I still have an urge inside of me to do the right thing and fight for law and order and the public trust. Get the fuck out of here. See them games? Listen. All of these guys are going to do time, guys. We established that. I don't know how much time they're going to do, but they're going to do a lot of time. Here's another thing. I did a video before about how the city do not want them to go to trial. It's going to be expensive, going to be lengthy. They got civil lawsuits against them stuff, Hempfield and all this other stuff, then turn state's evidence against these dudes and probably be called to the stand to cooperate. Watch this. You watch me when you watch what I say when I say this to you guys. Don't be surprised if one of these 5 officers take the scapegoat route. And the officer I think that they're going to take the scapegoat route is Desmond Mills. Because remember, he surrendered his right to even want to be a police officer. And even if he's right or not, like, hey man, fuck this, I don't even want to do it no more. Right? Even if he did that, check it out. They might use him as a scapegoat. We got the certified, yeah. He gave up his decertification. He just gave up his position. They've played goofy games like this, the defense, and somebody got to take the fall. Now, all I'm going to do is time, but I guarantee you, and this is a prediction, each of them will have different amounts of time. If not, 3 of them will have the same amount of time. And those 3 are Justin Smith, Tadarius Bean, and Emmett Martin. Emmett Martin need to be shitting bricks right now because he's the one that did all that head trauma to Tyre Nichols. But guys, listen, I'm going to leave it at that. But it's the audio they're scared of. It's what they were saying after, and then the 4 hours after that investigation, and probably when they was talking to the internal affairs. They got to clean all that up, and certain things they can't come out. Because remember, a lot of times it ain't what you do, it's what you say. That's what it is. That's what the holdup is. It ain't the evidence. All the video evidence is there. It's what was said after the point when he was getting beat, and directly after when higher ups were talked to. That's what the problem is going to be. And that's why it's a holdup. It ain't the video evidence, it's the audio. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. Guys, leave me a comment if you agree or disagree. But let's talk about it. But man, this is a mess. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video.